If you're a website designer who is charging hourly for your website design projects, your amends and updates, then I hate to tell you this, but you are doing it wrong.
It can make it quite hard to prioritise work.
You are leaving money on the table.
That 3-hour project that you planned now has another hour's work involved, but you've already quoted the client 3 hours.
You are damaging your client relationship, and you're most likely damaging your confidence as well.
I've just taken on a new client recently who, her website was absolutely fine, but she said the designer just kept coming back with, and by the way, you're going to need to pay for this.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Websites Made Simple with me, Holly Christie. I am a website designer, a website designer's mentor, and the host of this podcast. I am here to help you if you are working in the web design space. So that could be a designer, a developer, SEO specialist, potentially even a copywriter or branding specialist. If you work in an industry that mainly works with websites, then this podcast has been for you. Because I am here to help you have a better business, to earn more money, to improve your skill set, and to enjoy it all along the way. So, you ready? Let's get started. So today I am talking about charging hourly because this is something that still comes up time and time again. And I have my Sparks group mentoring program as well. We were on our group mentoring call last week and I spoke to the 10 designers and developers and SEO specialists in there and said, how much are we all charging as an hourly rate? And everybody was able to give an hourly rate. Everybody was saying, this is what it is. It kind of feels a little bit like a trick question because the real answer is I don't charge hourly. And there is a reason for that. Hourly is often a time where people are exchanging their expertise for a set amount of money. And when you look at how much that expertise would cost, it's a little bit like how long is a piece of string? Yes, there is an industry standard. In general, most website developers will be kind of hovering around the £50 mark. Some will be at the £100 mark. Some will be at $75. There's no kind of set rate. And most web designers tend to set their hourly rate against another web designer's rate. So they might be on a group mentoring call and finding out what other people are charging, or they might see it on a developer's website, or they might ask a client what their previous designer or developer was charging. Sometimes they'll undercut and think, maybe I'll just do this or that, or they will use it as a baseline. The only really successful businesses are the ones which don't exchange time for money. The ones who say, this is the cost of a project, this is how much the project will cost you. And there are all different ways of doing that. You can say, as a web designer, that I will only work on projects that take me 3 hours or more, or I will bundle all the web design changes and then I'll only do them when it gets to X amount of hours work. Really, how you choose to kind of divvy up your projects and how you prioritise them is up to you. Building at project pricing is very different to hourly pricing because this is really building a lot more on expertise than it is if you were just to say, I'll go and get those changes done. Another thing about when we charge hourly is that it can make it quite hard to prioritise work because if you're getting paid the same rate for whether you're building a website, whether you're making some amends on a website, whether you're, just adding in a mailer-like form or something like that, it's hard to decide which one you're going to do at which time. And consequently, you're going to have to be really disciplined to make sure that you're servicing your clients as per the agreement that you've got with them. So when you book something as a project, it's much easier to say to them, right, I've booked in the project and the start date for that project is going to be whatever date. You will hear from me with an update at whatever date, whatever your terms of service says as well. Project pricing should also allow for scope creep. I have done other episodes on scope creep because it is such a big part of the industry. And, I get it that a lot of our clients aren't visual people. So they don't know what the changes or the update or the website, whatever it is, they don't know what that's going to look like until they actually see it. And then they see it and they think, that's brilliant, or that's not so brilliant. And can I just see it like this? Can we add in this? Oh, I've got a photo I think will really work with this. Or, oh, I see where you were going with that. Another website I saw had a video on their website. Can we add one in here? And the next thing you know, that 3-hour project that you'd planned now has another hour's work involved, but you've already quoted the client 3 hours. Then when you go back and say, well, yeah, we can do that, but it's going to cost another hour and a half, the client kind of feels cheated. They think, well, no, I'm just giving some feedback. This should be included in feedback. So when you look at bundling pricing for a project, you're not just looking in the same way with like a web design. If you were doing a brand new design, you wouldn't say, well, that's going to take me 30 hours. I work at £50 an hour. Therefore, the price of this project is going to be 30 times 50. It doesn't work like that because we have to look at the expertise we're bringing to the table. We have to look at the tech setup, running the tech updates, all the different things that goes into it, the final testing. What happens if at the final round of testing, we activate some plugins or something like that and there's errors within the website? Yeah, there are so many reasons that we go to project pricing when it comes to website builds. We need to look at that project pricing for all of the stuff that we do within our work. Booking things as projects can be a lot easier as well because once a client gets used to that kind of structure, they don't think they've told me it's 3 hours. Really, I think that it's just a quick little job and it should be less than 3 hours. I know I'm using this 3-hour analogy a lot, but so many clients think like, oh, I had a DIY website myself once and therefore I think just shoving an image and a container on a page is, a quick job. But of course it's not. If you think when we're working with images, we're resizing them, we're changing them to WebP format, we're renaming them, we're putting alt text in there, we're positioning them, we're doing all the SEO work as well. And that's all the hidden behind the scenes stuff that goes into your project pricing rather than your hourly pricing. As I was explaining earlier, it just helps clients feel more secure and settled and less argumentative in what they're getting if we're quoting per project. So the other thing that using project pricing helps us to do is it helps us to work with white labelers and freelancers. And there are always times where web designers just get inundated with work. If you're not inundated with work, I strongly recommend that you go back and listen to some of the previous episodes of this podcast because it tells you how to build your brand, how to market yourself, how to get clients. I also have a course, websitesmadesimple.co.uk, which is how to get clients for your web design business. And this will essentially give you a 3-month plan on how to show up, how to market yourself. It's got some email templates. It's got everything you need to really turn it around. And when you have turned it around, we have, as I say, the opportunity of working with freelancers, with white labelers, or even tech VAs, depending on what it is that you're doing. Having a project price allows you to choose who is going to work on that project because you're not trading time for money and you're not thinking, oh, well, I would charge £60 an hour, but a tech VA is £35 an hour. So really, I should only be charging the client £35 an hour. But actually, I need to put another £5 on because I'm the one doing the invoicing, this, that, and the other. It just takes up headspace that you don't need to be allocating to that. You just charge per project, say to the white labeler, freelancer, this is what the project costs. Would you like to work and do it? And that's it. That's how it's done. Ultimately, you'll also always be cheaper than an agency. Agencies charge extortionate amounts for websites, website amends. They take a very long time to get around to them. And I know that I'm generalizing. I know that there will be usually maybe micro agencies who are a lot more honest around these things, or they don't have such high overheads or whatever else. But usually people will always be able to find an example where they have paid more for this as well. So don't worry. Even if someone comes back and says, oh, that really is a lot of money, it wasn't what I was expecting to pay. So that's how much it costs. And if you can't pay it, I do understand and totally understand if you use someone else, because I know that it can feel really nerve-wracking to turn down any form of money. But trust me, if they can't afford you, they're not your people.
Bye-bye.
The ones who can't afford you are the ones who will be haggling every single bit, especially if you're charging hourly. And again, you're building your business. This is just headspace that you don't need to be taking up with this. So really do bear that in mind. The nice things with project pricing as well is it means that clients always really know where they're at with things, because they know the project costs this much, even if they scope creep it a little bit, as long as they're not massively scope creeping, in which case I have got an episode which tells you how to deal with that, which is basically bring it back to I'm going to need to re-quote for this project, or if we change the scope, then I need to quote on top of what you've already paid as well. But it really does settle clients to know where they're at, knowing what the bill's going to be. And I've just taken on a new client recently who, her website was absolutely fine, but she said the designer just kept coming back with, and by the way, you're going to need to pay for this. And I've decided that I'm going to add a plugin on that and you're going to have to pay for the plugin. And she said, I just felt like really insecure that I never knew each month whether I was going to have to pay more and more for my website. So really being clear with costs, even if your costs are higher, and I do recommend that bundling into project pricing, you do quote slightly higher. It just gives everyone that peace of mind. And ultimately, when people are choosing their website designer, they are choosing peace of mind. So do bear that in mind. So project pricing as well will help you to get better quality clients. Now, I've talked about this all the way through, that you won't get people who are haggling with things. You get people who are confident, they're settled, they're secure in working with you. And when you have clients like that, it means that you can be confident, comfortable and secure in your work as well. So if you feel like you're excluding some of those lower paying clients or whatever else, it's because you're opening up the way for those better clients to come along to you as well. So that's it for today. I hope I have absolutely convinced you to charge per project rather than per hour. You also heard me mention the Sparks group mentoring program that runs every single Wednesday from 1 till 2 p.m. and it is a secure space for website designers, developers, SEO specialists to come in and to have an hour of group mentoring with me, to have a mastermind with the other people in the group, to talk about anything industry related. There is no subject off the table other than the one rule of we do not tech shame. Everybody has a different setup. Everybody is welcome at the table. And if you think that this form of mentoring would be right for you, go to websitesmadesimple.co.uk and you will see Sparks group mentoring there and go and check it out. In the meantime, if you have any feedback, any thoughts, anything you would like to share with me about your own experience of pricing per project or pricing per hour, you can find me at hello@websitesmadesimple.co.uk or go to the website, go to the podcast page. You'll see there's a form you can fill in and you can even leave me a voice note from there. So until next time, happy designing.